Hello, hello. How is
Hello.
everybody doing?
Hi there.
Good to see you, Deborah.
It's nice to be seen.
And I see
I
Donna's
remembered and
here.
everything. And hello, Karen.
Hello, I want to tell you my house smells so wonderful today. I made the oat groat with the cinnamon and raisins, and it smells so good.
It is good. That's so nice.
All ready for breakfast tomorrow, huh?
Yep,
I made that yesterday or the day before, and I just had it this morning, and it's delicious.
yes, I know.
Yeah.
I made it once before with applesauce because I didn't have an apple. It didn't turn out quite as good.
Oh,
But it's still
But
quite nutritious. You can do it either way.
yeah.
All right. So I see we've got some questions coming in already, and I'm going to pull up questions from the community as well.
you see that Donna is having trouble getting on because it's hers is asking for a password.
Yeah, let me
Been there, done
Let
that.
me give her one. Yeah, I don't know why sometimes it seems to do that and sometimes it doesn't. Okay. Um, okay. Passcode is 002917. 2917. Okay. And by the way, if you guys jump in and I haven't shown up yet, you guys can talk to each other because you should be able to hear each other fine. No?
You had audio turned off, I believe, and we could wave to each other, Karen and I, but that was it. And so then I tried putting something in
That's
chat to say
weird.
hello, and I don't think she saw that there was something in chat.
Okay. Yeah, I see that you chatted. Yeah, there shouldn't be anything that keeps you from talking. If you're muted,
I'm
you can
not.
unmute yourself. Well, it's weird because I haven't done anything. I just came in. I mean, all I did was turn on my camera. Like I was already hosting, so I don't know why it wouldn't let you do that. That is very weird. Hey, Janet. Hi,
Hey,
Merle.
how are
Hey,
you?
Janet. Hi.
Hey,
Hi.
good to
Hello.
see all of you.
It worked. I'm
Alrighty.
in.
And
Okay,
Donna's
perfect,
in.
Donna.
Yay.
Alrighty. So let's get started. I'm going to start with some questions that I see in here. Um, Deborah wants to know if I have another retreat in the works yet. Oh, good question. I am kind of solidifying my schedule, so I should be able to answer that question in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Um, Summertime in northern Michigan can be really, really nice,
Okay.
just so you know.
All right.
Um, okay. Another question was, I just answer also back in school so people know that we've answered some of these questions. Nut gravy. Okay, last Thanksgiving, you mentioned a nut gravy recipe. Huh,
It was in the
I
Q&A.
did.
Yes, it was in the Q&A.
Yeah, I was
And
just
I
looking
think
over
it
there and
was
I,
for Thanksgiving that you had it. And you said, I'll probably post that recipe. And then
never
I've
happened.
just been reviewing our old Q&As, and I thought, well, I don't remember seeing that.
Okay, so let me see if anything comes up in my collection
Thank you.
when I search for
Because it sounded
gravy.
delightful.
Yeah, it does. I'm trying to remember like whose gravy it was or who
I can't help you there.
yeah, right. Okay. Interesting. Okay, gravy. Cashew gravy? Would that stick like a nut gravy in your head if I said cashew gravy? You
Well,
definitely have a cashew gravy.
you were calling it a nut gravy, and I can't remember. I thought you had said it had a couple different kinds of nuts in it or something. Anyway, it was
Was it
intriguing.
one with Brazil nuts?
I don't know.
Okay. Because I think you all have my gravy one that I often use.
Well,
With
I
it's
love
called
the portobello one. That's
yeah, that one's
my
good.
go-to one.
There's one I use with meatloaf, which is made with cashews, and it's different from the portobello, but it's really tasty.
Okay.
And it might be when we were talking about meatloaf. Let me see here. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, country loaf. Maybe it's what it's called. Hang on. There's two ways. I have a meatloaf recipe. I'm pretty sure it's on the website called country loaf. It's made with bulgur burger. So it's not a gluten-free recipe. If you have to be gluten-free, this one won't work for you. But if you're not gluten-free, it's a really great meatloaf that's mostly whole kernels of wheat and a little bit of gluten flour and then a bunch of vegetables. And you cook it in a loaf pan and it molds really nicely. You can cut it into slices. And you can either eat it with ketchup, like some people like meatloaf with ketchup, or you can use this cashew gravy.
Okay.
So let me pull this one up because I know I have that one. Yep, and it's super simple. You throw all the ingredients in a blender, blend it till it's very, very creamy, and then cook it till it thickens. There is the recipe for cashew gravy. Hey, welcome, Rachel. I was on a different screen, so I didn't see you till just now. Good to have you here. So there's the cashew gravy. And then another one that I had promised some people is, oh, I need to save this as a PDF so I can share it with you. Hang on 1 minute, because I just typed it up. And sometime in the last week, somebody was asking me about soy and like if you're on thyroid supplements, partial soy products can be a problem. And partial soy products are things like soy milk and tofu. So they were like, okay. And so they were like, what can I do instead of tofu? And here is one of those recipes.
You spoke about lentil tofu.
Yeah. And actually, the person I got it from called it lentil pea meat. But you can kind of use it like tofu. You know how if you roast tofu or like you put it in the air fryer, it'll get kind of crispy and chewy?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what this will do. So this will do something really similar to that. But it's made from lentils instead of from soybeans. So that can be a great option for people. So let me pull that up. Lentil. So I just called it lentil tofu / meat. So either way, you'll find it when you're thinking about it and you want to try it. And it's very simple. And This one, you take your red lentils. You can also use yellow split peas, either one. They're high protein beans. And then you soak them, you put them in a blender, you add some seasonings, and it gets really thick. You add hot water, and in the blender, it will thicken up quite well. And you pour it out into like a glass dish
Mm-hmm.
and let it chill. And it sets up so you can cut it like into cubes. And so the smaller the cubes, the easier it is to get it chewy. So like 1/2 inch to 1 inch cubes is a pretty good size. You can experiment, see what you like better. And then you bake it for like an hour and a half. So like 45 minutes, and then you stir it, and then you bake it like another 45. And the drier it is, the chewier it gets. So depending on how you want to use it, and it's good just like that, like just to eat, like finger food. Or you could put a gravy over it, or you could throw it into a stir fry, or you could do different things
I like it
with.
already.
so it's also very simple ingredients, and I got this from one of my friends. She served it when we went to their house, and I was like, this is really good. I've never made anything like this. So I transcribed the recipe for you, made it a little bit easier to read. But I noticed there are no measurements for the seasonings. It just says sprinkle in like chicken style and garlic and onion and so on. And so it's the kind of thing where you could just taste it like in the blender and see how it's tasting. It's going to taste a little different after it's been baked for that long. It will change the flavor some, but it'll still give you an idea if it's like got enough salt or enough flavor. And when I make it, because I haven't made it myself since we've been back home. That was when I was out in California. So when I make it, I will measure it, and once I have measurements for all the ingredients, I'll probably put it up on my website at some point. But I didn't have it to that point, but it's still very usable recipe. So hey, you guys can have it and experiment with it. So
Thank you. It's my kind of thing.
yeah.
I don't usually go by measurements. I put a pinch of this and a dash of that, just like my mom used to.
There you go, Merle. I love that. I did a lot of cooking starting when I was young, but my mother usually gave me a recipe to cook from, and it wasn't until I was a teenager and I went to a kind of unique boarding academy my senior year of high school, and it was a work study program where you studied half a day and you worked half a day. And my work for 1 quarter was cook at one of the boys' homes. They didn't have dormitories. They had like family homes where like a couple would have like a bunch of guys or a bunch of girls live with them, anywhere from 10 to 15. And so my job was to cook for this one boys' home. So these are teenage boys. They eat a lot, very hungry. And my supervisor, the lady of the household, she was very, very frugal. And so their breakfasts were consistently some kind of hot cereal. So some kind of grain cooked up as a hot cereal. Then I would come in to work in the afternoon. And so my job was to take whatever was left over of the breakfast cereal and make patties or a loaf or something out of it. And there was no recipe for this. And so you learned, like, what do you have to add if you want something to hold together into a loaf? Or what do you have to add to make a patty taste good so you can use it in sandwiches or with gravy for the next day? So I would always be using the leftovers to make the main dish for the next day's lunch. So that's where I learned to cook without a recipe. And it was very useful experience because I learned a lot about the art and science of plant-based cooking. So like what makes things work in a plant-based recipe. So anyway, that was kind of fun. So that is the recipe for the gravy. I'm also going to see if I can drop that in here. Rachel was asking about it, I see. So here is a cashew gravy recipe I really like. It's good over bulgur wheat meatloaf. And anything else. You can do it over patties. You can do it over, all kinds of things. So let me see if that's going to let me post. Yep. Hopefully people can download that one. And then new eatery advice. A fellow card player was asking the group what they would like to see in a new restaurant in Chico. Oh, what an opportunity, Deborah. I piped up with vegan, and he was interested. When I gave him an idea of my learning about vegan cooking, he wanted to know if I'd be interested in working. I let him know I'm happily retired. So what advice might I be able to pass along to him? He is not vegan, and potential partners are most likely not either, but he seemed excited about healthy options. I love that. So my husband's in the next room over, and he just piped up. They can hire Lucia as a consultant.
Yes,
I agree.
exactly.
That was a
I
good
agree.
idea. And you, since you already know this person, Deborah, I mean, obviously you've got a great collection of recipes yourself. So you might also be able to facilitate getting him started with some ideas. And, and if he wants to talk to me, I'd be happy to talk to him.
Excellent. I will give him your card.
So,
Thank you.
okay. Oh, that's really exciting.
I thought so.
We were just in Traverse City, which is north of us about 30 miles, this last weekend. So we were looking for a place to eat out Sunday. And so I was looking on the internet to see what there was. And since we moved back, there several new restaurants have gone in, and there's actually like a really genuine North Indian eatery that's gone in. And it's run by a family of Sikhs, and a lot of Sikhs are vegetarian. So they have some really great vegetarian and vegan options on their menu. So Indian varies. Like sometimes there's a lot of butter or ghee in their curries. So they're not always vegan, but they had some good options. They actually had a whole veggie menu is what they called it, and there was probably 15 entrees on that. They had things like curried eggplant, cauliflower, potatoes and peas, lentils, red lentil dal, several different dals. So that was really nice. So we were excited to see that. And then there's another new restaurant that is all Vietnamese. And Vietnamese restaurants tend to have a lot of pork, which this one does. But they also had an edamame dumpling, like that goes in like a broth soup. And it was quite tasty, a little too spicy for my liking, but had really nice flavor. And I was like, edamame dumplings, I've never seen those. So that was kind of an experiment. And I'm just always glad when I see people trying to do stuff that's more vegan in the restaurant. And there's a lot of consultation only. Yeah, I wouldn't want any liability, Rachel. But consultation is an option. Okay. Lentil tofu. Okay, you guys got that. Oh, posted already. So, and that, and then art and science of plants. Wait, okay, what do I need to do to get to level 4? I can't access art and science of cooking until I reach level 4. What you need to do is you need to make posts that ask questions to get people to answer you, because every time somebody answers you, you get more points. And you're on level 3 right now, Karen, and if you click on the number 3 next to your name or next to your picture in Skool, what it will show you is that level 3 We call that the salad level. It takes 44 points to get up to the next level. So it means 44 people need to interact with you, have likes or comments. So the easiest way to do that is to comment when other people comment, or ask a question when you see other people that have made a comment. You might ask a follow-up question to it. You can pose questions. You can ask people like, what's your favorite way to eat green beans, or whatever. It doesn't have to be about food. You can do, what do you do when you don't feel like exercising, but you know you need to? Whatever it is that is along the topics in our group, which is healthy lifestyle. You can give contributions or you can ask questions. When you do a contribution, I would still ask a question at the end, like say, I read this really good book. I recommend it. Have any of you read it? Let me know in the comments below. That will get people saying yes or no. So things like that is how you get yourself up to the next level. It's by being active in the group.
Okay.
And it's every level, it like takes more points to get to the next level. So like to go from 1 to 2, I think is only like 5, which is why I have things in the classroom that you can only access after you're in level 2. It's because somebody has to get in and at least show up, ask a couple questions, say something before they get access to those resources, because a lot of the value in this group comes from each of you. Like, how many of you have noticed, for example, how much value Deborah brings to this group? And notice how she does it, right? She posts pictures, she asks questions, she reminds people about upcoming events, all sorts of things. All of you can do that. Because all of you are learning. You have your own experience, what you're struggling with, what's coming easy for you, what you've nailed down, what you want to have questions about. Ask people. Ask people. You can ask people things like, what dropped your blood sugar the most, the fastest? You're going to get different answers from different people. How long have you been on this journey of trying to normalize your blood sugars? I mean, get to know the people in the group. Does that make sense, Karen? Is that helpful?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And feel free to like share links. Maybe you find a really interesting video on YouTube that you thought was really great about what happens when you sleep. You know, anything that we're talking about here. How do you deal with stress? Questions about supplements. Any of those things can get dropped in here, and then some of them will get answered just in terms of comments, and some will get answered here on your Q&A. So yeah, you have a lot of different ways to earn points.
Okay.
And it's one of the things that I think is kind of fun about this particular platform, because there's a little bit of an incentive to engage and pay attention to what's going on in the group. So any other questions? I think I finished everything I saw in the group. So you can drop it in the chat, or you can just unmute and say, I would like to know more about this. How many of you saw my post about the exercise challenge? Okay, I need to go back and see how many of you responded. If you haven't, check it out. And now that I'm in my office, I can show you what I was talking about. Part of our like incentive around this, for those of you that maybe haven't heard yet, I'm doing a challenge. Anybody can join. What we want to do is, as a team, and the team is anybody that joins, and you can include spouses or friends that you want to bring along with you on this journey. I really, the more the merrier, as far as I'm concerned. The more people join, the quicker we're going to get to our goal anyway. But the goal is to walk or run or exercise the equivalent of 2,025 miles in 2025. So that's the basic challenge. And one of the ways I'm going to be tracking it, let me see if I can get you to see this. I might have to drop my background. Hang on just a second. Come on.
If you hold it in front of
Okay.
your face, we could see. Okay.
Yeah, here, this will be a little better. It's still part of it's going to be blurry, but you'll
Yep.
notice there's 4 quadrants on this poster, and each
Yeah.
quadrant is a fourth of the distance. So it's about 500 miles, and you probably can't see it, but each of these, it's kind of like a paint by number picture,
Ah,
so that each of these little shapes in here, oh, you can kind of see it like that,
yeah.
has a
Yeah.
number. It might be a number between like 1 and 7. And so you can color in the spaces for the number of miles that have been walked.
Hmm.
Okay, so I started because this is just like my walking so far this year. Was like 116 miles. I got on my phone, and that was just what was on my phone. I don't carry my phone all the time, so I know I've walked more than that, but at least I had that much track. So if you want to track on your phone, you can jump into Skool on Sunday morning and let me know how many miles you did the previous week, counting our weeks from Sunday through Saturday. So report on Sunday for the previous week, and I will add your miles to our poster, and kind of keep you posted on our running total. I think that would be kind of fun. And if you yourself want to do some more motivation around it, you can go to the website called Run the Edge. That's what it's called. And you can even get yourself like a medal with the year 2025 that you can hang around your neck once we complete, even as we complete it as a team, everybody can be eligible for a medal. There's some little intermediary medals of how many miles are completed, 500, 1,000, 1,500, whatever. If you they sell the medals, but you can sign up and you can use the online app to track your miles as well if you want. You don't have to do the double if you don't want to. It's just kind of up to you. They have like commitment medals. So like the first year you do it, like a lot of people doing this many years in a row. Like they'll do 2025 this year, 2026 next year, or so on. I heard about it first because I had some cousins that have been walking the year. I think the actual website's called runtheedge.com. There's a lot of variations that you can join in. There's online community. But it's like you don't have to like do all of that. I just wanted you to know you had those options. So you could get yourself a medal if you join and you want to do this for the year as well. So I just think it's kind of fun to do things in a group. So feel free to join. Um, if you want to do it, just give me the names of you and any of your friends or family that want to join. I'm dropping in the thread that I started in Skool for that purpose because I'm going to set up a spreadsheet so that it makes it easy, and I'll put the link in Skool. Actually, that might be the easiest way for people to track their miles. And for the purposes of this challenge, 2,000 steps is a mile. There was one other resource I'll drop in here for those of you that are doing other kinds of exercise that might not be step. It's like it still counts. Like if you're gardening or you're biking or you're swimming, there is a step calculator. Miles to steps. No, steps to miles. Here is one that will let you calculate steps to miles. It's a little more scientific than the 2000, but for those of you that want, you can look at that one. And I know there's an activity one, so just a second. Step ones for different activities. Oh yes, this is the one. Okay, so this one, you time how long you do this, whatever activity, and it'll give you about how many steps per minute it is. So if you do 30 minutes, you take the number here and multiply it by 30, or however many minutes you do it. So that's this one here that I just dropped in here. And so that one's really helpful because it has things like gardening, different kinds of games, bowling, chopping wood, canoeing, fishing, carrying golf clubs, sorry, hiking uphill, hiking flat, jumping rope, ice skating, yard work, tai chi, stair climbing, skiing, scuba diving, rock climbing, painting, mopping, Pilates, racquetball, so bicycling, if you're going really easy or you're bicycling faster or you're bicycling very fast. So you can use that to estimate your number of steps.
So
Yeah,
this-
and I like that all kinds of movement can count. So
I have a question.
yes,
I have an Apple Watch, and I had 15,000 steps, 641 today, and it calculated it to 6.03 miles. So if I report in, should I report steps or miles?
miles.
Miles.
If you have something that's measuring what you're doing in miles already, just do the miles.
Oh,
I just
okay.
know that more people have step counters than mile counters. But what I'm actually tracking, what we're actually tracking is miles. So
Okay.
if you can give me miles, that saves me some work. All righty. So looking forward to that. And because this is a challenge that technically runs all year long, if you have tracked anything from January 1 till now, you can report that. So it's like, I don't care how many thousand it is. You can report that now and we can kind of get caught up to where we are in the year. So feel free to do that if you've been tracking and you already know, or you can go look on your phone or whatever. Because that's kind of what I did. I just looked on my phone. I went back to January 1 and did each day and calculated it. And I was like, okay, everybody can do this. All righty. Any other questions? All righty. Well, hey, it's always great to see you all. And we will look forward to seeing you next week. Same place, same time. Have a
Thank you,
great week.
Lucia. Bye, everybody.
All right.
I
Bye.